The anime starts in Japan. A boy, Kazuya, is asked by his grandfather why people start their own families. His grandpa tells him it is so people don't die alone, giving him some advice for when he dies. The scene cuts to Kazuya at his grandfather's grave. In a fantasy kingdom, the king is unable to fix a certain issue. A man tells him the only solution is to summon a hero. The priests start the summoning process, lighting up the whole kingdom. When Kazuya is in the library, a magical circle appears under him and he is transported into the sky. He ends up in the inside of a church. After changing his attire, he enters the throne room where a bunch of men stare at him uncomfortably. The king thanks him, but Kazuya tells him that he was brought to the world against his will. The king tells him the situation and explains that a void has formed, allowing monsters to come out and they cannot stop it. In the Grand Chaos Empire, a messenger tells the princess that fighting against the void will need a lot of resources and informs her that the Elfrieden kingdom has not given any contributions. They tell Kazuya that they want to send him to the empire since the kingdom doesn't have any money to financially contribute. Kazuya questions if the empire will only request for him or more resources. He tells the king that it would be stupid to send him to the empire and gives an inspirational speech to improve the country's finances. In a meeting room, Kazuya requests for the documents of financial reports. A few days later, the king transfers his rulership to Kazuya and announces Kazuya's engagement with the princess. The princess, Licia, barges into the king's room and wants to know why he gave up the throne. She further questions him about the engagement and the queen tells her to meet Kazuya. Licia enters Kazuya's room and sees him signing large stacks of documents. He tells her to help him with the budget, thinking that she is a reserve. Licia introduces herself as the former princess and Kazuya tells her he doesn't give a shit. Licia questions why he took the throne and Kazuya responds that he has no clue what is going on as well. Kazuya tells her he will retire in a few years and allows Licia to cancel the engagement. She stands up embarrassed. In Van, the capital of Amadonia, Princess Roroa and her advisor discuss the new king of Elfrieden and his decision to sell the kingdom's jewelry. In the kingdom, Licia is surprised that Kazuya sold off the royal treasure. Kazuya tells her not to worry as he hasn't sold any historical pieces. At one of the dukedoms, a duchess tells her spy to meet Kazuya. In the throne room, the head priest informs Kazuya to check his magical abilities. He does the test by touching the statue and it starts glowing brightly. He sees magical orbs flowing into him and steps back, telling the priests he has magical powers. Licia knocks on his door and sees him and many other people signing documents. He's using his magic to move the pens. Licia comments on how weird it is and the large amount of documents. The next day, Kazuya continues to do the documents while his men have already fallen asleep. Licia is sleeping on the couch. Kazuya touches her hair and she wakes up, startling both of them. He tells Licia he wants to show her something. They ride the horse and Kazuya tells her about his life on Earth. They stop in front of a field of flowers and he speaks about the food shortage. Cotton cannot be eaten and is only grown to be sold as a cash crop. But because other countries also rushed to produce cotton, the supply shot up and exporting cotton now does not generate enough profit. At the castle, Kazuya tells Licia that it would be better to plant food and soybeans instead of cotton, mentioning that they need to find a new cash crop. A blond man called Ludwin refers to Licia as the queen. He is the captain of the royal guard. Ludwin joins them for breakfast and asks him how the reforms are going. During tea, he tells Licia he wants to recruit new retainers using a broadcasting gem. He asks Licia about the typical recruiting process and she tells him that less than half of the citizens can write. Through the broadcast, Kazuya calls for anyone with skills to apply. People watch from the streets, villages, and buildings. He gives an inspiring speech. Not gonna lie, I got goosebumps. Kazuya promises a reward for anyone who is chosen. The broadcast ends and Kazuya hopes that the recruitment will help the country. In a dream, Kazuya tells Licia he wants to do anything in his power to help the country. Licia wakes up and wonders what it would be like to be part of his family. Her maid, Serena, comes in asking why her face is red. She tries to explain, but Serena laughs. In the waiting room, a chubby man is nervous about meeting Kazuya. The chosen ones go into the throne room and kneel, but a warrior chooses to stand, saying that respect must be deserved. Kazuya tells the rest to stand. The female warrior, Aisha Utgard, steps forward for the reward. However, she tells Kazuya she doesn't want the reward and requests for Kazuya to advise her on how to save the trees surrounding her village. Kazuya tells her to remove some of the trees so that it doesn't block the sunlight for other plants. Aisha immediately bows and says she will die for him. Damn brah, that's quick. Juna Doma steps forward and Kazuya is very impressed with her big Bayig personality. Marx tells Kazuya that she is the greatest singer in the world. Since the ceremony is being broadcast, Kazuya wants her to sing. He lets her hear a Japanese song and she sings it afterwards. Everyone is amazed at her voice. In Amadonia, Roro talks about Kazuya recruiting new members to his team. Pancho Panicotta is called forward but accidentally trips. He is the biggest eater in the kingdom, traveling to many countries for their cuisines. Kazuya is immediately excited about his skills. Pancho starts crying and Kazuya gives him a title. The next person is Hakuya Kwanmin. He is said to be the most knowledgeable person in the world since he has read many books. Kazuya offers him a job as the royal librarian, but he declines, telling Kazuya that he would like to be an advisor. He appoints Hakuya as his right-hand man. Next, a wolf girl steps forward. Her name is Tomo Inui and she can talk to animals. She wants to tell Kazuya something but is too nervous to do so. Kazuya goes to Tomo and she whispers something in his ear which shocks him. She tells him that she hasn't told anyone other than him and her mother. Kazuya walks back to his throne, trying not to look shaken. In Kazuya's room, he wants to make sure that no one caught what Tomo told him. She told him that she can speak to demons. Last time, she ran into a demon in the forest and it told her that he was following her to make sure she was okay. They are surprised that the demon showed sympathy and Kazuya brings up the idea of negotiating with them. He tells the rest that other nations cannot know about it, further informing Ludwig to get her a bodyguard. Marx warns Kazuya that the bodyguards will bring suspicion and suggests inviting her into the royal family by adoption. Tomo is hesitant about the idea since she already has a family, but Kazuya tells her that her real parents will be able to move into the castle afterwards. In Lishia's room, he sews a plushie as a way to relax because he doesn't have his own bedroom. Lishia mentions how there are other rooms in the castle, but Kazuya changes the topic. Surina enters the room and seeing her and Kazuya giggles and tells them that Pancho has returned. They meet with him after he has collected a bunch of food in a bag. On the broadcast, Juna informs the citizens about a new TV show. Kazuya comes in and apologizes for the food shortage in the country and tells them to enjoy the TV program while he works to fix it. The food arrives. Everyone is disgusted to see a live octopus, but Kazuya starts cooking it. They ambivalently try the skewers that he made and cannot stop eating them. Pancho presents tree roots and after Kazuya prepares them, the team eats and enjoys the snack. The next food is dead grasshoppers. Lishia and Aisha are disgusted, however, Tomo happily eats it. Kazuya tries it and starts crying as it reminds him of Japan. When Pancho brings out the next dish, everyone is taken aback. The thing on the plate is a jelon. Pancho gets ready to prepare the jelon and Aishi wants to make sure if it is dead. They have never seen a dead jelon before because hitting it will release the liquid inside of it. Pancho explains that hitting it with a hammer can let the membrane remain intact. Once cured, the jelon can be cooked and sliced. Pancho puts the jelon in soup, making it look like udon noodles. Lishia asks Kazuya to take the first bite and Juna gives him hers. He slurps it and likes it a lot. Aisha and Lishia try it next and Juna also likes it. After finishing, Juna wraps the show up and Pancho says that it would be tiring to do another episode. In his office, Kazuya eats some grasshoppers. Surina comes in and tells Kazuya to meet Marx. He wants to discuss stepping down as the prime minister. Kazuya asks him about his replacement and Marx suggests that Hakuya take his place. Marx says he will take up a new position with a lower salary. Kazuya appoints him as his consultant. Hakuya suggests Kazuya to take a break for a day and tells him to take Lishia on a date in the town. While walking, he sees Lishia and Aisha sparring. Kazuya tells them to chill the fuck down and tells Lishia about the date. Aisha suggests going to her village's forest, but Kazuya tells her he will go at a later time. He asks Aisha to be their escort and Lishia gets jealous. Later, they are dressed as students. They go on a carriage and Kazuya reminds them to keep a low profile and call him by his name instead of his title. In the town, they take a nice walk, stopping at shops. They sit on a fountain and Aisha gets hungry so they go to Juna's cafe. Juna immediately catches on and serves them some food. She tells them that jelon udon has been added to the menu and smiles. Lishia gets jealous again. Aisha continues slurping and talks about offering her body to Kazuya. He says that he is engaged, but Juna tells him that polygamy is recognized in the kingdom. Lishia tells Kazuya that having another wife is possible but says that she will not be thrilled with him if he does. They overhear a fox girl shouting at a guy. Kazuya thinks that she is a wolf and the girls correct him. Lishia tells Kazuya the guy is Halbert Magna and he was supposed to go to the army. Juna says that the girl is Keat Foxia and she is a mage. Keat is telling the guy not to join Duke Carmine because he is defying the king, but Halbert doesn't care and still wants to go. She doesn't want a civil war to break out between the duchy. The scene flashes back to Hakuya telling Kazuya that he needs to be careful of Amadonia. Kazuya hypothesis that Amadonia is communicating with the dukedoms to start rebellion. Halbert doesn't know what the Duke is going to do but wants to follow him, so she begs him to reconsider. She realizes that the king is in the cafe. They go into a room and Halbert tells him to mind his own business. Aisha manhandles him. He asks Kazuya who he is but later recognizes him as the king. Kazuya questions him about his intention to go to Duke Carmine's side, telling Halbert that he can join the Duke's side but reminds him that he will have to fight Keed if he does. Halbert becomes hesitant. The scene cuts to Kazuya, Licia, and Aisha sitting on a field. Licia tells him to lay on her lap for some rest. Kazuya tells her not to worry about the engagement but she says that she is happy to be engaged to him. Kazuya tells her he will only marry someone he loves, so Licia asks him if he will ever fall in love with her. Aisha starts talking, saying she was pretending to sleep, so both of them get embarrassed. Later, Serena tells them that Keed, Halbert, and Halbert's father, Glaive, want to meet him. In the throne room, Halbert's face is beat up and Glaive asks Kazuya to forgive Halbert for his actions. Kazuya tells him that it is no big deal and to stop running his face as it will upset Keed. Changing the topic, he appoints Keed as a staff officer and transfers Halbert to the Forbidden Army. Glaive requests for everyone else to leave as he wants to tell Kazuya something. Licia, Keed, and Halbert have tea. Kazuya is shocked about the information Glaive gives him.